Yep.
She looked at it and said, why'd someone put their address in the sand?
All right.
And then we stood at it, trying to figure out what it was. And she'd long been a server in restaurants. And she said, you know what I think it is?
Yeah.
I think it's a reference to restaurants when you would 86 something in a restaurant.
Right, it's off the menu.
Yeah.
We had this ridiculous story last week of former FBI Director James Comey, who's just wandering down the beach. He's just a private citizen wandering down the beach. And then he sees this beautiful art installation of a bunch of shells that say 8647. We all know that 86 means to get rid of. That's what it means if you ever worked in a restaurant. And on the 86th floor of the Empire State Building, that's where the mafia guys used to take people to the observatory tower to throw them off. And if you fall 86 floors, Connor, what's going to happen to you? You're going to die. But James Comey, he's just an interesting private citizen interested in art and outdoor sand architecture. So he took a picture of it. Anyway, the media, of course, is running cover for him. So what happens when you get caught red-handed when you're a Democrat? You get on the late night quote-unquote comedy shows. Here is Stephen Colbert with that guy.
Beach. What happened? You were walking on the beach and you saw this on the beach?
Yeah, my wife and I, Patrice, were walking on the beach and saw those numbers in shells on the beach. And
you didn't do this, somebody else did this.
Yeah, somebody else did it. We were on a walk preparing for this week, the rollout of my book.
Yep.
She looked at it and said, why'd someone put their address in the sand?
All right.
And then we stood at it, trying to figure out what it was. And she'd long been a server in restaurants. And she said, you know what I think it is?
Yeah.
I think it's a reference to restaurants when you would 86 something in a restaurant.
Right, it's off the menu.
Yeah. I said, no, I remember when I was a kid, you'd say 86 to get out of a place. This place stinks, let's 86 it.
Right. I was a bartender. You would 86 a customer if they were getting drunk. Like, let's 86 them. Let's, like, give them a low-proof alcohol or something like that. Yeah.
And so I said, I think it's a clever political message. And she said, you should take a picture of it. I said, sure. And then she said, you should Instagram that. And boom.
You got to give the devil his due. Like, these people have the devil operating inside him. So Stephen Colbert, I was a bartender, and if you 86 and you give him a lower proof alcohol, yeah, there's a wasted guy in the corner. He's been drinking too much high alcohol content IPA. Let's give him a Schlitz. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? And first he thinks it's just numbers. Then his wife realizes it's clever. Connor just brought up a point that there's another mafia reference to this, which 86, it means 8 miles out. What was it? What do you say? 8 miles out? 6 feet down. 6 feet down in terms of if you're dropping off a body, you need that body to sink. 8 miles out, 6 feet down, little cement. You get where we're going with all. So anyway, look, they're just all awful, but that is the machine operating. And try to imagine the reverse of it. The reverse would be a former, because he's obviously a Democrat, so a Republican former FBI director who did this to a Democrat president, and then that guy being invited to go on a late night comedy show to make jokes while he's selling his book. It's just absolutely, it would be Kash Patel going on Jimmy Kimmel after this happened. Do you realize how profoundly absurd that sounds?